Okay, guys, I am so excited and honored to get to introduce all of you to Curt Beavers. He is an international leader with the Juice Plus Company. His personal brand and company, Make a Life, teaches individuals and families around the globe how to live inspired lives through healthy living choices in their diet, lifestyles, and business. Curt and Lori and the rest of his family have taught people how to make a life in all 50 states and over 25 countries around the world. And he shared with us a few minutes ago that he has somewhere between 50 and 60,000 team members within his organization. And I'm going to ask all of you, if you are not muted, if you could click the mute button in the top right corner of your picture, so that way we don't have a lot of echo and interruption while Curt's speaking in just a few seconds. Curt has degrees from Georgia Tech, Emory University, and Logos Bible College. He serves on many ministry boards and is an elder in his church and is a published author. In 2013, he co-authored a book called I Call Shotgun, which I have right here, and I need you to get to sign that book for me, Curt, with Tommy Newberry. It's about fathers pouring into their children. His newest book, Make a Life, came out in 2016. It conveys the principle on how true joy in life can only be achieved from discovering and pursuing your God-designed calling. And if you were at conference, we heard a lot about that towards the end on Saturday, about your God-given talents and the strengths that he has given us. And most people find that making a living keeps them pursuing this to their fullest. And you don't have to. You can use your God-given calling and really have a fulfilled life. He loves owning his own business and the time and financial freedom that it affords. He says he is a CEO and his offices are at the lake, the boat, a deer stand, on the golf course, by the pool, and sometimes from his office in the basement. And that's such a great thing to have a business that you can take absolutely anywhere with you. And really that means he gets done whatever he wants to do, wherever he wants to do, and he gets to have fun. He loves technology, productivity, and being efficient. On a daily basis, he connects with thousands of virtual franchisees that subscribe to his Juice Plus Today updates and email newsletters. Curt and Lori are both Atlanta natives and have 3 great children. Trey married Katie, and they are the Young Life area directors at Milledgeville, Georgia. They are blessed with the newest addition to their family on Father's Day, Milton Powell Beavers. Hope and Zach both attend Georgia College and are involved in numerous camp activities. Their most recent Make a Life story is buying a new lake house 30 minutes from Georgia College with beds, are you ready for this, for 19 people to enjoy their family, friends, ministry, and business all the time. Curt loves having Kairos moments, a break in the normal chronology of life. Great things happen when the right people connect at the right time to do things that could have never been done alone. And he cannot wait to connect with us today. So Curt, I'm going to switch this over to speaker view and I'll let you take over.
When you switch to speaker view, that just means I have to look at a big picture of myself, right? No, hopefully it's coming in very clear. And as you can see, I love to be casual in this business. I have my Juice Plus hat on and just want to be with you guys tonight and just in this space and be quiet and just listen for a few minutes because I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. And then I think Sherry really wants me to talk about what it looks like to on-ramp and start a new distributor. So my goal is for us to be out of here in like 30 minutes. So we'll be done at 10 o'clock is the goal. And if we finish before, we can ask some questions if you'd like to. But I have been doing this for 30 years. I started with Lori when she was 22 and I was 23. And I'll just give you a quick extra tidbit of information over and above what Sherry said. That was a nice introduction, Sherry. Thank you. And so when we started, we were not looking to make a bunch of money. We were 22, 23, been married 6 months, in starter jobs, had a great job, but it was one of those where I started at a great place to have a huge future, but you don't make a lot of money in the beginning. And Lori didn't make a lot. And all of a sudden, one Sunday, our pastor preached a sermon on getting out of debt. And we had all these plans. Lori said, we're going to be married for 3 years, have our first child, wait 2 years, have our second, wait 2 years, have our third, then we're going to be done. And she had it all planned out. But after we had that sermon, we had car payments and all the things that young people do when you first get started and apartment rent. And, we made it, but we were barely getting by. And she started just crying because she said, we'll never be able to have kids because I'm not going to put my child in daycare. And so that was kind of the beginning. That moment was the beginning of our journey. we started spreading the word to all these young couples we went to church with that, hey, Lori's trying to find a way. Anybody know how she can make $1,000 a month? Because if she can make $1,000, she quit her job, stay at home. And long story short, a pastor's wife from another church who was a friend of a friend called us. We went to her house. She was this meek, mild personality, kind of the person you want at your bedside if you were sick, but not a salesperson at all. I mean, literally, you would never think she could sell anything. And she couldn't explain the product very well, but she loved it. She couldn't explain the business very well, but she was excited. And we left that night. We heard one thing very clearly. It wasn't a lot about the product, although we love the product. It wasn't about the business. What we heard, Sherry, you might just mute everybody and unmute me if you want to. What we heard that night was that she told us, I'm going to wait till Sherry does that. If you want to do that, then I'll keep talking. That's fine. I think it got quiet now. So she told us that she had made $80,000 her first year. This is this meek, bedside manner, great person, but not a salesperson. And we left there. We didn't know a whole lot, but in the car on the way home, we said, if she can make $80,000, we've got $1,000 a month with one hand tied behind our back. You know, it was just, we knew we could do it. So we got signed up and we were excited. In our first month, we got 38 customers. 13 of those 38 came and looked at the business because they were in similar situations to us. They were young couples at our church. 5 of them joined us. So we got 38 customers and 5 distributors the first month. And the journey was on. It was amazing. And we ended up, my wife ended up making national marketing director our 8th month in the business. And then I had signed up under her and I made it our 14th month. So both of us were national marketing director in 14 months. And it was absolutely amazing. We got benefits. We got the $3,000 per month expense allowance each and a 6-figure income. And our lives were changed literally in a period of 14 months. And we've never looked back, and it's been amazing. I get to do some cool things with ministries and invest in the lives of other people, and it's been awesome. But today I really enjoy taking a new person. I just met with somebody this morning who's in the ministry. He loves to work with youth in the U.S. and in Mexico, but he needs money and he wants to be able to have an income coming in so he doesn't have to say no to different ministry opportunities. That what he does in ministry doesn't determine, what he does in ministry is not determined by how well he does at fundraising and begging for money. So what we did is we sat down and talked, and I thought this would be a good way to share with you getting a new rep started. So when you get somebody new started, I am both. You can turn the ringer off when new people enter too in the features if you want to share it. When new people start in the business, I'm both firm and sensitive. Try to be both. But when somebody new tells me they want to do this business, I'm going to give them a plan and say, this is what you need to do. And I tell them getting started is kind of like playing chess. I'm going to make my move and tell you, and then I'm going to make my move and you're going to lay out there what you're supposed to do. And then you're going to make your move. And then we'll just take this thing one move at a time. Because if I unload everything on them at once, they don't know what to grab and what to go after. So I want to give them, okay, here's your next step. Here's your next step. So the main thing I would say we miss, and the main thing I focus on when I bring a new rep in the business, is to make them feel welcome, which most of us do a great job at. But I want them to get off to a fast start. I don't want them to wait 30 days to make HLP. I don't want them to go out and wander around for 10 days, talking to people, finding posts, looking for videos, and not knowing what they're doing. I want them to have a plan. And you can go to missiondrivenmodel.info. You can go to my website, which is not everything like Julie's. It's makealife.jp. It has a getting started step-by-step plan. I think, some of your team may have a website. Michelle Barnett's got a lot of teams have websites. They're all getting you to the same place. They just have little bitty bits and pieces that may be different in the beginning. So our main goal is once somebody signs up, we want to be on a Zoom orientation call with them within 24 hours of them getting their welcome email with their username and password. So we tell them, don't do anything until we get on a Zoom call. Don't go, blast email 50 of your friends. Don't start until you start right. And so the idea would be, in an ideal situation, would be to do that Zoom orientation the same day they get that email. And what I tell them is, as soon as you get the email, call me and we'll set up the Zoom call. So the only thing I'm waiting on is for them to call me and tell me they've got their password. As soon as they do that, we get on Zoom and begin the process. And, you know, my plan when I get them on Zoom is to talk to them, do some more rapport building, but really let them know about the support team they have, who their upline is, who's available to help them. But we really dive right in and tackle the mechanical details of the website and get them familiar and excited. And before we do that Zoom orientation, before I start, I go ahead and go into I use an Apple computer. I go into my Safari web browser and I have a bunch of tabs open. I have the virtual office open. It's not yet logged in. I have the juiceplus.com site open. I have the Juice Plus YouTube. I have YouTube open. It's open to the Juice Plus channel on YouTube. I have Mission Driven Model open in another tab. I have makealife.jp open in another tab. And then I have the Tower Garden YouTube channel open. And then we dive into their website. We get them to log in, and, you know, all the stuff pops up about virtual banking, and you set all that stuff up. And if they don't have their account number, you tell them they can do it later. You get them, just go by and always check, you go by and always check their personal information. You want to go by and make sure their name's spelled right, make sure their address is right, make sure their email's right, make sure their phone number's right. Just get all that out of the way. And then you want to just get them really excited about all the websites they have at their fingertips. So we go and we walk through getting their website set up. What do you think you're going to be more excited about? Oh, one tip there. I never put their address. When you go back and edit, like, their name and all the details that are going to appear in the upper right-hand corner of their website, always take out their address, city, state, and zip code. Two reasons. One, no, everybody doesn't need to know where you live on the internet. But number two, you don't want somebody, if you live in Tennessee, you don't want somebody in California going to your site and they think you're just a Tennessee business. So just put name, phone number, and email. Don't put city, state, a zip, or anything like that, okay? So fix that. And then you're going to go in and claim the best name for their website. You know, it's going to come up with something funky like their initials and 6 numbers, their PIN number. But what you want to do is claim the number, one of the optional sites that they would like best. Like, let's just say you're John Smith. It might say johnsmith.juiceplus.com, or mine's curtbeavers.juiceplus.com. So you're going to pick the website that's best for them. And then you're going to go down and pick the product that they want to have displayed first, the video they want to have displayed first, and then you're done. And then I immediately go over and show them their new websites, navigate through their website, show them how to share doctors' videos, show them how to take somebody direct to the page to buy. And we just kind of play around. I said, there's so much more, but you show them all that. You show them the Tower Garden site. And when I show them the Tower Garden site, we immediately flip over and go to the Tower Garden YouTube channel, and we play the 4-week time-lapse video. Because most of them, they may have never heard about the Tower Garden. Because if they came to the table with Juice Plus, they may or not even know about the Tower Garden. So you want to, make them aware and increase that knowledge. We're still doing mechanics. You're going back to their virtual office, showing them how to place orders, showing them how to place a children's health study order, showing them how to place a Tower Garden order. You're going to show them where the other resources are on their website, like printing a personalized research summary, where the forms and applications are. Just kind of get them familiar. You don't have to cover it all, but just get them started looking at it, okay? And then I go over to my makealife.jp, and we're going down that checklist. I mean, maybe the easiest thing would be for you to just use Mission Driven Model and pull up the Getting Started checklist and just tell them what you're going through. Just go down that list. And then the first thing that we really talk about on that is Voxer. And we explain Voxer. We set up their Voxer support group. Who's in your Voxer support group? I want to create that channel of communication ASAP. So we do that. And then the next thing we do is we talk about them placing their own first order. As I'm teaching them how to order product, you want to be your own first customer. Now, I would say sometimes they're already a customer, and the computer now is supposed to automatically move their orders. If they become a distributor, it's supposed to know that and move that order. but you might just want to check on that and make sure it's worked. But they need to be their own customer. And then I really hammer this point home, and this is the main thing I wanted to focus on tonight, is we talk about them making HLP within 72 hours. That's kind of the number I use. You got 30 days, but I'll really share with them, you're going to get on the product and you're going to do a trio order, because people are going to do what you do. If you tell them you're on the trio, that's more than likely what they're going to do. You want to do a trio, and you got to get 2 more trio customers to do HLP. So we get them to get their trio, and then I begin to share with them how easy it is to reach HLP. It's just getting 2 customers. If you think it's easy, they're going to think it's easy. So I usually tell them a story about, what, if I read a great book right now, if I'd read a great book, finished it today, there's 10 people I could call. If that book really impressed me, I have at least 10 friends that I know I could call right now. If I told them how good that book was, they'd be on Amazon before we hung up, because they would trust me and that way we go buy that book. I want you to think right now, who are the people in your life that if you read a great book, saw a great movie, bought something that was a great deal on sale, if you told them about it, just because you told them, they wouldn't have to do a lot of research. They wouldn't have to go, make sure you weren't lying. They just trust you. That those people, who are they? And let's get them to be your first 2 customers. Try it for 4 months. It's going to be amazing. You can always cancel it, but I want you to try it for at least 4 months. And I've learned to say this. You don't have to say it, but I like to take the pressure off the sale. And when I'm sitting there talking to somebody, I'll say this. I'll say, you know what? You need to be on Juice Plus. It's that good for you. Whether you want to say flu season's coming up, it's made a tremendous difference in our health. And I know you don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. So whether you buy it from me or not, you need to go get Juice Plus. You can't buy it in the store. You might be able to find somebody else that has a franchise in the area, but you need to buy Juice Plus whether you buy it from me or not. You're sitting right there in front of them. They can't buy anywhere else. That's not a statement that's at risk. They're still going to buy it from you, but you take the pressure off of, you believe in it so much that whether you get it from me or somewhere else, you need to get Juice Plus. So tell them that. I say, if you need me on the phone for a 3-way phone call, whatever you need, let's try and get these 2 people by tomorrow. Can you think in your head right now who they are? And what you've done is you've helped them achieve a major victory quickly. And now they've got almost the full 60 days to work on their VF. They didn't wait till 30 days was gone to get HLP and only have 30 days left to finish their VF off. So you really need to encourage the urgency of them getting that HLP fast. And I would say 90% of the people that I talk to that are successful in this business have done their HLP within a week, not within a month. Okay. So that's really, really important, I think, and that's critical. Now, as you begin this journey with them, I want you to think about there really being a cycle that people get involved when they get on this business. I'm going to try and do one thing here and see if I can do this. And I am going to show you this. So if you had a square that looks something like this. Right here on the top of the square, let's call this distributor level 1 and leadership level 1. That first step, when they very first get in the business, what you're going to realize is they are at a place that I would call unconscious that's just too big. I'm not going to take it off. I'm just going to talk. Unconscious incompetence. So they don't know they're incompetent, but they are they're so excited they're ready to charge hell with a squirt gun, and they don't know what they're doing. So they just run off like wildfire, and they're going crazy with the business. And all of a sudden they get their nose bloodied. They're talking to everybody, they're excited, but they get a no, they get discouraged, something happens, and they get to this place that's very whoops, let me switch that. They get over here to what we call D2, L2, distributor level 2, leadership level 2. And that is where they all of a sudden they've gone from, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't care, to that's the unconscious incompetence, to all of a sudden they're at conscious incompetence. All of a sudden they know they don't know what they're doing. They're not sure they can do it anymore. They're doubting themselves. And this is where you, as the leader, the sponsor, this is the most important part of your Juice Plus journey with a new person, because they are going to live off of your confidence while theirs is in doubt. They've faced some no's, and they've lost their vigor, their confidence, but you've been there, done that. And it's not where you can just tell them something. It's where you need to be available, because what they're going to do, they're going to want to go down here and crawl in this pit and have a pity party. They're going to go right down here, and they're going to tell you how pitiful they are. They want you to feel sorry for them, and they want you to come down in the ditch and join them. But all you have permission to do is to throw a ladder in the ditch and get them out. You cannot go in there and have a pity party with them. You're confident in this business. You know how to do it, and they need your availability to walk with them so that they can reach this level, this D3, L3 level. And that is where they are consciously competent. They know what they're doing. They have regained their confidence because of the journey you were on with them during this period of time where they have doubt. Every distributor goes through that. Some, it takes longer to get them out of it. But as long as you, as the upline leader, are walking there with them, they will survive on your confidence. If you're not available right here, you're going to lose people. You can't just send them a video. You can't just send them to a website. They need you. They got in the business because you asked them. They ran on, just total, reckless energy here in the beginning. They've gotten serious. They've gotten to here, and they need you. And once they get to this level down here at the bottom, their confidence is beginning to come back. They're consciously competent. They're getting it, but they still have to think, and they got to really plod through it. And this is where you want to get everybody to, is D4, L4. And that's where they're unconscious competent. It's when this business becomes second nature. It's like, if you ask me to tell somebody what Juice Plus is, I don't have to think. It just starts coming out of my mouth. Or, how does it take to qualify to be a virtual franchisee? Or can you explain the marketing plan to me? It's second nature to me. And all of us are eventually going to get here. And that's where it's easy and comfortable. But there's a danger in this. If you try and operate right here, you can't teach. I'll give you an example. And some of you on the phone probably can identify with this. Let's say you've had a child come home and you're trying to help him with his math homework. Now, I'm a math brain. I can tell you right now every credit card number in my wallet. I know every member of my family's social security number. I just know numbers. That's just my thing. And my kids come home, and so I'm in this unconscious competent, this level 4 with understanding math and numbers. Kids come home and want me to help them with their math homework. They show me the problem, and I write the answer down. And they show me another problem, we write the answer down. Dad, if there's this, word problem, read it, I give them the answer. They said, Dad, I know that's the answer, but how did you get the answer? And once you become so confident with this business and something, if you don't move yourself back to this level where you're being conscious in your confidence, you can't just tell somebody, how they're going to arrive somewhere. You got to drive them there so they see how to do it. And if you'll move back to this place, even though you're, unconsciously competent, you can do it in your sleep. You got to move back to right here. This is where all the teaching occurs. This is where you hug them and instill the confidence. All your teaching and training occurs right here. So as you walk people into this business and you get them to HLP very quickly, somewhere between that HLP and the VF, they're going to dip into level 2. You got to pull them out and be with them until they reach that VF level where you've got them confident again. And, there are lots of different ways to do that. But I see so many people. I think we learned this at conference. I did 12 three-way phone calls today, and this is my third Zoom call. So that's what I've done 15 calls today between Zoom and the phone. And people are learning the importance of these three-way phone calls. It's a real conversation. It's not a text. It's not a Facebook Messenger. It's not a post. It's not an email. All those things may get attention, but your real business is going to be done in real conversations. And you got to make yourself available. And my daughter's business is great. She's a senior sales coordinator, common in her paycheck while she's in college. I mean, she just told us the other night how much, she's in college and I'm still a dad that I'm covering all of her expenses. I'm not going to let her leave college in debt. And Lori and I were amazed that, she could go buy a brand new car tomorrow, just what she saved from her Juice Plus paycheck, and she's in college, in 1 year. And it's pretty impressive, but she's learning how to be better because her generation's tendency is just to text. They don't even answer the phone. They listen to voicemail and text back. And people sometimes need a real voice to talk to. So I would really encourage you to get them started fast, HLP in 72 hours, and then just know that the next 60 days, they need you to do it with them, not tell them what to do. And if you do the business with somebody until they're a VF, or maybe until they have a qualified business, they're going to have all the confidence in the world to go do this business. But they need you with them, not telling them what to do until they feel like they've got it perfected. It's kind of like the relay runner running a relay. I forgot the name of the coach, but there was this guy and somebody asked him, how do you keep winning all these NCAA national championships? How do you recruit the fastest runners in the world? Because I know you've got the fastest runners. You always win the race. And he said, you have no idea what you're talking about. He said, the key to winning the race is not the speed of the runner. It's the ability to pass the baton. And it's the exact same thing in our business. You learn how to do this business. You've got that baton in your hand and you become successful at getting customers and successful at building a team, and you recruit somebody new. And all of a sudden you're passing that baton to them. You're running. When you make that point where you're supposed to hand the baton to them, they catch up with you and they're supposed to be running with you, and both hands are on the baton at that one moment. Now, it seems like a blink of an eye in a relay race, but the key to this business is, what do you do when both of you are holding the baton? You're passing it on to them. They're grasping and taking it for them, but most people won't keep their hand on the baton with the new person long enough for them to get confident. And that really is the key to starting a new distributor, that they know you're there with them when their confidence wanes. And it will happen. Some for a split moment, some for weeks. But you've got to be there in that moment or you'll lose people and they'll lose their zeal for the business. You can get it back, but it's harder to get it back than it is to get them started in the first place. So don't lose that momentum. But I mean, that's what I do. There's not a magic bullet. But when I bring somebody in the business, I won't recruit somebody unless I know I've got the availability to help them, because there is that responsibility to do it with them. I love the fact that the word sponsor and the word responsibility have the same root word in them. So that I really feel when I sponsor somebody, I have a responsibility to be in the game with them. And so I do a lot of hand holding. I do a lot of just calls that encourage and build people's confidence back. But if you'll do that and people know that you're there for them, in these Voxer groups, when you got 4 or 5 upline and they know they've got everybody there with them, it just makes a huge difference. But I'll be happy to, Sherry, turn it back over to you. And if you want to, end it, great. If you want to do a few phone calls, that's great. Just tell me what you want to do. I'm good. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And I apologize. I was digging, trying to get the chimes to turn off, and it just wasn't going to happen. And I didn't want to miss out on anything more than I had missed out on. But
it didn't bother me. I was just thinking about
okay.
recording it.
Well, it was absolutely phenomenal. And when you made the comment about, I think the baton, I mean, when we have those analogies, it's so much easier to understand and grasp. Just picturing that baton, the handing off, and automatically I thought of different team members, whether direct to me or within the organization, just watching that. And, there's also the part of some people you have to hold that baton longer than others.
Yep.
And it all goes back what you were saying with the consciousness and the unconscious and the confidence and all of that. So since it is 9:00, it's been the 30 minutes, Central Time. If anybody needs to jump off here, you will not be considered rude if you have to leave. Curt, if you do have a little bit of time, I would love you to answer a couple of questions, if that's
Sure.
a possibility. And
let's take
okay.
5 or 10 minutes whatever. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Does anyone, I think I've got everybody on here is muted. I was trying to do that at least when people jumped on. So if you do have a question, you will need to unmute yourself before you ask a question. Anyone want to go?
I'll go.
I knew you would.
Yeah, I like to talk, obviously. But Curt, there's a little bit of a struggle, and I'm trying to figure out where I need to change that. So I know you were saying that when you first get people started and you put their order in the system, and then you say, okay, you put them in the system as a rep, you put their own order in the system, and then you go to, do you know any other people? So are you recommending that you put people in the system before they have the HLP orders lined up?
I do. I mean, because my plan is to do it in 3 days. I'm not worried about them not having enough time.
Okay.
I mean, the only reason not to do that is if you're thinking that they're going to need 30 days to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if somebody gets in the business and they can't get 2 customers in, 3 or 4 days, we're just not doing it right. Everybody has that inner circle, and you just got to go do it.
Right. So the 72-hour window is what you're saying is the crucial thing. What are we doing in that window?
Yeah. If you don't, they're going to wander around without success. They need to do something to make their business happen when they start and not just wander and wait. If all you have to do is get 2 trio customers because you've already done yours, why should that take 30 days?
Right.
I have a quick question. So what about those people that are like, well, I want to have my own product experience before I recommend it to anyone else?
Some people are going to be stubborn about that. It's fine. It says, why don't you don't go out and get all 40 customers before you have your own product experience. Why don't you get 2 people and y'all can be on that journey together and you can talk about it?
Okay. Any other questions? Come on.
What do you do with the people that say, well, I want to see how it works for you first? Because I've gotten a lot of those types of responses when I've shared it.
Are you talking about product or business?
Product.
Well, what I would say is, I may not notice anything immediately. Juice Plus is all about prevention. What if you told me you weren't going to eat any broccoli till I ate a bunch of it and you saw what it did for me? How are you going to know what it did for me? Juice Plus is just fruits and vegetables. So I know it's going to strengthen my immune system. I know it's going to do a lot of things for my body. There's research that tells me that. But everybody's body's different. And we're talking about prevention. We're not talking about shrinking a tumor or throwing away the crutches. It may not be this cortisone effect that you're expecting overnight. You're just getting healthier. And how are you necessarily going to see or feel that?
Perfect. Does anyone else have a question for Curt? Anyone? Switching screens.
Maybe a question. And so what do you do what do you feel is the best way to get a group together to do like a health conversation, like with a group of people? You said you had maybe friends at church that you started with, or have you ever done those?
Yeah, I'm probably the worst person to ask about that because I have this kind of posture that I take of, you don't put round pegs in square holes. And, there's so many ways to do this business that some people want to have parties and events in their homes or health lectures. Some people would rather, meet 10 people one-on-one at Starbucks. And so the person that's great one-on-one at Starbucks, why not let them do that instead of forcing them to do the big group things? So we use events, and I invite people to events, but we've really never done like home health parties. That doesn't mean but I've got people on my team that are national marketing directors because they've done them. But I'll meet 10 people a week at Starbucks or go do something fun and sit down with somebody, take somebody to play golf and talk to them about the product of the business, take them hunting. I want to go do what I love with the people I like being with, and then I do the business while I'm there. So that's really the way I do it. But if you're trying to invite people, you have to give them a reason to be there. And to come hear a lecture is not a good reason for anybody to come. So there's got to be some reason that they need to learn what you're going to teach. It's kind of like sharing Juice Plus on Facebook. You can't just try to sell Juice Plus. You're selling the experience that they're going to have if they take Juice Plus. So what experience are they going to have if they come to your health lecture? You know.
Well, I was just going to say, Stacy and Krista are helping me set up I work for a tutorial that's a homeschool, and the amount of junk food that we throw away in the trash cans daily for their lunches is just making me very anxious. Sure. And the owner has agreed to let us do something to provide like a nutrition talk.
Yep.
But she said the biggest problem is getting our parents in.
Yep.
A lot of them don't want to. So I'm wondering if you could provide key in for that.
Yeah, I do specific things like that. I thought you were just asking me a general question, but
okay.
If you're going to, the number one thing to get people to come is food.
Okay. Right.
I mean, people show up for free food. If you want to go to a college campus and have 100 college students come listen, if you do any kind of free food, the room will fill up, and it's true with adults too. So if you offer free food, whether it's build your own salad or free smoothies or whatever, so something free to eat or drink always works. Number one. Number two, if you've got something you're going to give them, they can take home, like a meal planning guide for healthy lunches during the week for your kids, or come and we're going to hand out a PDF that teaches you how to prepare healthy snacks for your kids. So if you've got something you can give them that they can't get unless they come, that's a good thing.
Okay.
But then you also want to tell them, instead of just telling them the topic of the meeting, tell them when they leave there, how they're going to be better off. If you'll come hear this health lecture, I promise you that we're going to see less junk food wrappers in the trash cans here where we're doing tutoring, because we're going to teach you how to feed your kids healthy and them like to eat it.
Good.
So you have to let them know there's going to be a positive outcome for them, that they're not just coming to hear somebody talk about nutrition.
Very good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So just to kind of wrap this up, Curt, you mentioned the connection calls and how many you've done today, whether it be telephone calls, like you mentioned, going to a coffee, going to play golf, Zooms, things like that. Yep. Could you just kind of talk about why you believe that third party validation is so important, and why getting, having those, not just the face-to-face or the talking aspect of it, but I know like through Brave Leaders, we talked about three-way connections. At the training this week at conference, it was about three-way connections. What have you seen, or why do you recommend getting that third party in there?
I mean, I think it's on the job training. I think that's the biggest thing that happens is, while you're trying to build courage, someone else is being courageous for you. While you're trying to learn, someone that already knows is talking to your person while you're listening and you're learning. So instead of, listening to every video, watching every YouTube, going to every, webinar you can go to learn how to do this business, why not go ahead and start building your business while you learn? If you don't use three-way phone calls, you're going to wait until you feel confident, or maybe you never get started because you're trying to muster up the courage to do it by yourself. Why not let the expert, the senior person, the experienced person talk to your people for you while you're learning, but you're building your business. You're not waiting until you've gone all the way through the learning curve to talk to somebody. So it lets you build your business while you learn, instead of learning and then building your business.
That is perfect. Absolutely love that. Okay, guys, I'm going to unmute everyone. Actually, let me stop the recording.